So with Module 29 upcoming, we'll be getting a lot of companion changes. Keep in mind this is still the preview server, things are still open to change. First of all, very importantly, if you do want to pick up some of these companions, be aware that there's a whole bunch added to the trade bar store. So you could just save trade bars instead of say Astral Diamonds. What we find here is the Lich. This is a very good defense power for tanks and survivability in general. The Greenscale Bowman, very good for just raw damage output. And both those are on Legendary already and 6,000 trade bars. I would recommend getting account-wide versions instead of those. The price may look like a lot, but keep in mind you can get a full 20% discount during a trade bar sale. Then, more importantly, there is the Neverwinter Knight, which is a very exclusive companion, only comes on a Zen Market sale once or twice a year. But when you can buy it, it's like 1,500 Zen versus a whopping 5,000 trade bars here. But again, with a 20% discount, that's just 4,000 trade bars, and you'll have players who don't really know what to do with their trade bars. They can buy this and then they can sell it on the auction house, resulting in the price dropping there, and you won't have to pay so much, like you won't have to pay more than probably 2 million, 3 million for it. The same thing with Tutor here, 5,000 trade bars at base cost, very good for the support of 5% combat advantage. Even getting the Black Death Scorpion here, very good for its too many legs ability, making the target grant combat advantage like nearly all the time. Even its offensive power is pretty good. Other than that, they added the Snow Leopard for kind of whatever reason. It does not do great damage. The Frozen Galabdor, you might think increasing your damage resistance is good, but that only, like, you gain that basically when you're dead, so it's not very good for tanking big hits. And then there's the Air Archon and also the Duergar Thurge. But that's not the only thing. We're getting a lot of balance updates across companions too. We'll jump into that in just a second. But you may think that, yeah, a lot of these prices with trade bars are pretty expensive. And you may be right. But be aware you can get a 20% discount. And there are players who don't really know what to do with their trade bars. So buying these and selling them will be a way that they can earn some Astral Diamonds, like people already do with, say, Scrolls and even the other companions that were already here, like the Raptor, Deep Crow. The main thing here is the Neverwinter Knight, if I'm honest. This is pretty good for newer players to have it accessible all the time. Even if it's on a pretty high initial cost, at least it's always going to be available in the game to obtain. You don't have to wait for some Zen Market sale. You don't have to rely on people posting it at such a high price on the auction house. But now let's jump into some balance update and changes to a lot of companions. There is a lot to go through, so I will just skim and point out some more notable improvements. So Xuna, she's a fan favored companion. She's getting a slight rework and overall damage increase. We will check how much. Then we have like Flame Sprite, Galabdor, Lava Galabdor, Windsfold, Genasi, just some minor improvements there. But then the Blue Fire Eye is getting a passive which will now grant 3% crit strike to all allies. I really don't like the look of this companion, but at least it's going to become a support companion. You can use it to reliably always give you this 3% crit strike. You summon it and our crit strike goes from 83.9 to 86.9. So it's another one we can add to the support companion list. Captain Elena Sartell got a bit of an update with her aura. It's now 80 feet from 50 feet. She can just give a 5% action point bonus gain, and then just some minor adjustments there with regards to how many targets she can have. It's up to 20 now, prioritizing players. Now there are some adjustments to companions which have like summons, so Tutor with a sword, Compy with his buddies, Siege Master with the catapult rocks. They adjusted the damage formula a bit, so all of them had to get a bit updated. They also tried to improve their AI and prioritization, having them prefer to use stronger powers upon entering combat and try to hit more enemies with multi-target attacks. So what we find is an improvement to the Alpha Compy, Arania. Celeste also got a little bit of a healing improvement where she will use her Sunburst ability more frequently, but it will deal less damage. Death Slad, minor adjustment there to increase its damage. Same with the Dragon Hunter. Then the Durgar Thurge, again some improvements. Same with Earl the Chicken Mancer being rebalanced to be single target. Elemental Air Cultist rebalanced to be hybrid, so like multi-target. Etrine adjusted a little bit. She's now going to give percentage stat buffs instead of just ratings. She even displays that in the tooltip now. It's 2% power and 2% crit strike, and then if you're below 50% health, it's 2% defense and 2% crit avoidance. That's very good to see. You have the Harper Bard, same story, giving that 2% power and crit strike. Good to see those going to percentage buffs. Then there's some adjustments to like Lich Makos and Makos with their fireball abilities and meteors. They'll be able to hit more targets, but they won't have like a damage over time effect. The Myconid just rebalanced to be hybrid. Remoraz will more consistently animate. The Savage Allosaur, just some adjustments with its AI, so it will like continually attack. It'll also deal some damage while it stuns enemies now. And then we have the Shadowkai Witch. This has been reworked. If you didn't have it, you're not missing anything. It's actually getting nerfed, which is unfortunate. Basically, it will no longer be able to, in some situations, like overlap its power and deal like unusually large amounts of damage. So yeah, it's a companion that will be coming more in line with others out there. Siege Master, just some small damage improvements. Same with the Songstress, Traveling Entertainer, and the Tutor. Finally, Wiggins the Undead will more consistently summon 3 ghosts to help him, and he's been rebalanced to single target. So there is a lot to test there. A ton of companion changes, and I'll get through them over time. But that is not all. We got some other changes, like powers who were considered projectiles will now properly critically hit. So that would be your Ranger's Cordon of Arrows and Seismic Shot. And then on the Bard, there was a bug which made you get stuck in combat. This should be fixed now with that Sheltering Etude. Those of you on consoles, when you die while blocking, it would cause you issues not being able to scroll. This should finally be fixed for you. It was never an issue on PC, so it was a console specific thing, and the devs struggled on figuring out how to fix it. Now, artifacts got a lot of generalization with regards to cast times, so they'll all take like about the same amount of time to cast now. It should just be 1 second. Some of them didn't have a cast time, and some of them had longer cast times. Like Anvil now gets a cast time. The Book of All Darkness reduced the cast time, and you can see that across the board here. So it will be more consistent. They also did fix that you can no longer slide while casting some of the powers. To be honest, I prefer to be able to move while casting abilities, but I guess that's how it's gonna be. You can still like jump cast and you won't even notice you're not moving. But that sums it up. So yeah, very interesting to get those additions to the trade bar store. You may think it's all overpriced, and yeah, some of it is. Like, I wouldn't buy a Greenscale Bowman for 6,000. I wouldn't buy a Lich for that either. You can generally buy it cheaper on the auction house, and otherwise you can wait for certain battle passes, certain reward packs, and just get it as account wide. Neverwinter Night you can also get as account wide, and in most cases you'd just be better off getting that. Wait for it to come on the Zen market and get it. People will also sell it for some Astral Diamonds on the auction house. So yeah, with none of these being account wide, the prices look just a bit too high, even when you consider 20% discount. Like 5,000 trade price will go down to 4,000. But again, this is a preview server. We are here to leave our feedback, and I would think they should probably just reduce this price to like 3,000 trade bars, because with them not being account wide, they just lack a lot of appeal compared to just being able to get the account wide versions. Like, sure, the Black Death Scorpion does not have an account wide version, so that at least makes sense to be a decently high price, because that companion will sell for a pretty high price. But it was just in the Astral Lockbox, so it does not have that much high price on the auction house right now, because the supply is high and the demand not so much. But overall, feel free to leave your own feedback. This is still the preview server. We have over 2 weeks still till the next module actually launches, so changes can still be made. So a special thank you to all of these channel members for your added support. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.